Hey guys, this is Noodle, and we're just gonna do a quick intro outside. Very, very quick because there's a lot of traffic and it's super noisy, but I want you to see how cool my milkweeds are. So, I planted these a few years ago now, and they are doing so good. These little red beetles are called milkweed beetles, and I hadn't seen them until I planted these, and they're so cool. Um, yeah, and look at this little and he flies away. Okay, so so and the reason why I did all that today is because we are doing more cryptid field notes. And this one is a version of Vaporeon, and I had a lot of fun. I'm really loving this series, and I definitely am gonna keep doing it after these are done, and I probably will eventually turn them into a book. So this is a set of 5 that I was commissioned for, and I have some kind of similarly themed illustrations that I've been working on for myself that I am going to, probably turn into a book someday. I don't know if it'll be the first book that I try to make, but eventually it'll happen. And so I am going in with my light fast sepia ink from Platinum. And getting all of and this is again, you're probably like, Annie, that looks like a hot mess. And it is kind of supposed to, because it's supposed to look like I sketched this out really quick while I was observing it happening in the field. So, and you're gonna notice that this particular Vaporeon is a little chunky. And that was on purpose too, because I was like, kind of imagining this as like a little bit more mature of a Vaporeon who has figured out like how to max out his ability to manipulate water and uses that ability to catch fish by just blopping them into his mouth. And so you'll see a little battle damage, and he's a little bit older and a little bit chubby and just enjoying his best Pokemon life. So getting to kind of make up my own backstories to these has been really fun. And I wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit in that I want to talk about like how do you know that you are ready to take commissions and how do you go about that process. So for these I was commissioned by a friend of mine, which makes the process a lot less stressful. And it's awesome in a lot of ways, right? Because like your friend sees your art and wants your art. Like your friend is like, your art is awesome and I would like some of that. And B, you get to work for the first time when you're doing a commission for the first time, like with somebody that it's easier for them to say to you, I like the direction you're going in, but can you do this differently? Or you work together to come up with ideas. And that's the kind of thing that you're going to see throughout your career as an artist if you take commissions, is that like you are going to be given the opportunity to create art that somebody else has a vision for, and you have to help them realize it. And sometimes sometimes the things that they want are just wrong. And yeah, you can either try to tell them that or just go with the customer is right, the client is right sort of mentality. So you can see here, this is he's blopping up the fish in the little water droplets so that he can eat them. Yeah. Anyways. So yeah, it's awesome if your first commissions can be from a friend or a relative. That really takes the stress level down. And I mean, hopefully you have that kind of support from your people, which is like a really awesome part of getting commissions from your friends, is that you know that they're like, they want the best for you and they want you to succeed in your little dreamy dreams about being an actual artist that gets paid to do work and can quit their day job and do this full time. Sigh. Someday. Well, Oh, speaking of which, you should check out my Ko-fi account. I just mailed out my Ko-fi things because I do that on the last day of the month. So stickers and prints are going out today, and my digital rewards will be up tonight. And yeah, so that's coloring book pages and reference photos. And next month, I think I said this last month too, and I just have had a really busy month. But next month, I am going to start doing digital wallpapers too on my digital tier. Yeah. Anyways, so for this illustration, I got to make up kind of my own backstory. And so for this like kind of aging Vaporeon, I was like, he probably just wants to chill in the tide pools and like snarf up little easily attainable fishies. And yeah. Oh, look, I'm drawing a little hermit crab. Hermit crabs. Yeah, so I just kind of picture him going from tide pool to tide pool and eating hermit crabs. And then after he eats his fill, he just kind of sunbathes, right? Like chill on the beach. That sounds like a really awesome way to spend your retirement years as a Pokemon, right? So, also, I wanted to let you guys know that this is a little bit of a shorter video. Next week's video might be a little bit shorter because I am leaving on a trip on Sunday. And I won't be back for like almost 2 weeks. So I'm gonna see what I can do, but I don't know. We'll see. I will try to get you guys out a video next week, and then when I get back, hopefully you can like see cool footage of me painting interesting things in interesting places. The trip is not a mainly painting trip. It's actually like I'm going to a board game convention. So there's going to be a lot of board game playing. But I do want to like make some time to do art, and I'm sure I'm going to do a lot of like doodling and sketching on the way down there in the car cuz I am driving and it is like 25 hours. I mean, I'm driving down there with a friend. I'm not sketching while I drive. Don't sketch while you're driving. I feel like there's some things I shouldn't have to say, but I'm saying them anyway. Don't draw while you're driving. Yeah. So, and now we are getting to the part where I start putting in all of like the actual notes, and I don't know if it matters, but I'm always like, ooh, which date should I put in there? And so I've decided that since there are 5 of these, I'm gonna do like June, July, August, September, October, and that will make sense, I think, in a lot of different ways. So first of all, it feels like this is a researcher like going on like an extended trip over the course of these months and doing research and taking notes on it. And so like having them all kind of in the same, I'm not putting years on here, but like to me it'll like kind of feel like it's all at the same time, all in the same timeline. So there's that. And then like one of the ones that I have to do still has a little bit more of a creepy vibe to me. And so June, July, August, September, October should put me into October, and then he can be like the October one. Right? Yeah. So that'll be fun. But, you know, spoilers. Sorry for spoilers for those of you who might not want to know that. And I actually remembered to put Vulpes pacificus on here, the scientific name of this Vaporeon I made up, because I thought it would be fun to have this one on the Pacific coast. And that's really all it was. I like the Pacific Ocean, so there you go. The only really hard thing I'm finding with these is that I struggle to leave these sketchy looking. And like to me, this one is not quite sketchy looking enough. Like I should have made this rougher looking. So maybe I'll go back in and kind of try to smush it up a bit, like make it look a little bit more sketchy. But I mean, and I like the layout, and I'm happy with the overall like design. I love the little footprints coming across the page. Yeah, I just I really struggle. I don't want to. It's hard to leave things sketchy for me. Yeah. That goes for like my finished works too. It's hard to like I keep picking, you know. I think technically it's called noodling, but I was a noodle before I knew that noodling was a word that actually meant something other than the food. So yeah. So I tend to fidget around at the end of my more like I don't want to say finished looking illustrations, but you guys know what I mean. Um, the illustrations that I make that aren't supposed to look sketchy, I tend to just putz around and way longer than I should, and I should just leave things alone. And it's a hard line to walk because sometimes you find yourself not paying close enough attention to those final details, and then that can really mess up your piece and make it look unfinished. And then sometimes you spend way too long messing with your final details, and your piece looks overworked. And art is a finicky, finicky beast, and I don't know what to tell you. It's a hard line to walk, and I think a lot of even like professional artists who have a lot of experience still like they have to really struggle with that line still. It's a hard thing to know. Um, I also have Vaporeon's mouth open because he's waiting for that fish to swim in. Anyways, and other than having a vague memory of Vaporeon being bluish, I didn't really look up how he was colored. So, if he is colored wrong, then that's my fault. Yeah. I also, as I'm saying this, I feel like Vaporeons are girls, but I'm not really sure. I don't know. So, I would love it if you guys would tell me if you've had commissions and how those went for you. I'm always really curious to know how other artists handle commissions and if they like them, if you like them, if you don't like them, whatever you feel like telling me. I just think it's really interesting because some people really hate commissions and some people really like them. And yeah, I like them for now. I have an idea that eventually I will get busy enough because I'm very stubborn and I'm just going to keep at this until I can do it as a full time job. So I have an idea that eventually I will get to a point where I no longer take commissions except from my friends. Because my friends also, as a benefit, are very patient. And so when they pay you for a commission and you don't deliver for a really long time, they're like, oh, that's fine. Yeah, don't do that with people who aren't your friends. You shouldn't do it with your friends either. But you're probably not going to get a lot of professional work in the industry if somebody pays you for commission work and then it takes you 6 months to get it done. Has it been 6 months? It might have been. To be fair, we had to get together and like talk over how we wanted all of this to be laid out. But, it wasn't just me, I swear. It's getting done now. And now he gets to see videos of it. So isn't that fun? And so for this one, I also included, like, I always want to include something that has to do with scale or like the size of things. So I was talking about um, Vaporeon's little footy prints, which Vaporeons I think only have 3 little toe beans. And so I was just making them walk like a cat, which I almost wonder if I should have looked at foxes, but I didn't. So Vaporeon walks like a cat, which I think is actually different than fox because I think with canids, I think you can actually see 4 distinct footprints, and with cats, they walk in their own footprint, so you only see 2. Um, if that makes sense, it's kind of a weird thing to explain. This swirly water bit is like my favorite thing. I loved making this. I don't know why, just like painting this little bit of swirly water over the tide pool made me really happy. Although I do also really love that like melted Vaporeon looking at you from a puddle of itself. Yeah. Yeah, so this has been really fun. I mean, okay, so here is another factor about commissions is that you only want to take commissions for things that are kind of in your wheelhouse. Like I do portraits, like I do animal portraits, and like I could paint like more realistic, although slightly more impressionistic actually, animal portraits. But what I really do is fantasy animal portraits. So like taking some reference pictures that you give me of your animals, and then like altering them and like making them a little bit, I don't want to say cartoony, but like yeah, more fantasy-ish. And then yeah, they're a dragon or they're a phoenix or whatever. So that's very obviously like that is the vibe of my work. um I don't do a lot of like just realistic portraits of any kind. I do some, but yeah. So like it's not likely that I'm going to take a lot of commission work to do pencil illustrations or pencil portraits, although I say that and I've done that too, but like that's it's work that I can do, but I don't do a lot of it. So it's way less likely that I would, take on those commissions. So, and I think the only pencil portraits I've done, like my church asked me to do them for like the graduating class. Oh, yeah. So we are at the end of this video. I have no idea if I said all the things that I wanted to say, but here's the 3 sets of pages I have done on my field notes so far. Love to hear what you think, and have a great week. Bye bye.